everybody. So it is here, middle of the week, right? Hump day. Um, a lot of things still left up in the air. So, of course, the events of last night. Um, we still don't have a definite answer. Don't know if we will have one anytime soon. Um, that's just the way that we do politics here in America now, I guess. So um, that's just part of, I guess, the whole process. Is just that there's so many close, tight races. Everything comes down to the last final go. Yes. So I see you still have the Eagles hat on. Yes. I'm paying off a bet, man. This is again against my will. I lost a bet. The Cowboys played the Eagles, and it was the worst. Again, this is not the most thrilling thing in the world, guys. Believe me. Um, it's like having pins just poking my head the whole time. So if I seem uncomfortable, you know why. All right, so let's get that out of the way. Thank you so much, Eduardo. Appreciate you watching it on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So this evening's guest, guys, pretty cool person. It was through one of the gentlemen that you guys saw on the show. If you were watching it last night, Mr. Russ Johns, and I've actually connected with this person. And ever since then, we've run around in a lot of the same groups and circles. And it was just time for us, to do this and have this conversation because I wanted to bring her on the show as a way to tell her, first of all, thank you for some of the things that I've learned from her through her conversations, and then of course seeing that some of the work that she's done. It's been really awe-inspiring to just be connected with this person. So, why don't we just bring her on? I mean, why beat around the bush? So, guys, help me welcome to the show this evening's guest. There it is, Miss Kenyatta Turner.
Gabriel!
How are you doing, Kenyatta?
I'm fabulous. I'm so excited to be on your rockin' show. And I love your whole theme with the pow and the bang and the boom. And I love it. So, I don't know. You're just awesome. Thanks for having me.
So we have Miss Sherry Lolly watching as well. Another pilot.
Sherry Lolly!
Yes,
Hey,
watching
girl.
front
She
seat.
saved my
front
seat.
row.
Yes. You got
Yes.
front row seat. I got a seat. She's
There
always
you
keep
go.
an eye out. Make sure I have a seat.
Howard's been a former guest and on
Hey,
the show as
Howard.
well. Enrique, what is up? My clan is in the house as well. They're watching all over the place.
Yay!
Senor Pasayada Heyoka, what is up, man? So one of the first things that I was, of course, drawn to when we first connected was the fact that you were always super engaging. You always were. All your comments were always positive. You had a lot of things that when I started connecting with you and watching a lot of your content, I go, wow, she's really open and honest and just has
Aw.
this thing about her. So, at that point, I said, at some point we're going to have a conversation. At some point, I knew that was going to
Yeah.
happen. So, and the first time that we ever spoke, it was only 15 minutes that we actually got to talk. But in those 15 minutes, you dropped a lot of knowledge that really kind of helped me change and do a lot of different things in the direction I was trying to figure out at that point in my journey. So, I'm always grateful to you for that. And then, of course, we also had another conversation afterwards. But again, I started really admiring you a lot more when I saw that you were doing this whole series that you did when you were doing this empowering women group that you had. And
Mm-hmm.
I implore a lot of people, if you go check out Kenyatta's content, go check out a lot of these interviews. Really great people. And again, that talking about what it was, it really brought them to wanting to go out there and change the world and do the things that they've done. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like really was a lot of who's who of LinkedIn. So, guys, if you watch on LinkedIn, you know,
Ooh.
yeah. I mean, to think about it, you had what I think two. I think it was two people that he had on the top 50 that they had posted on.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
that came out like after
their-
the thing was already started. Abram, I think his name. He put
yes.
the top 50 impactful people on LinkedIn, and it had like Rachel Beck, and she was in my
Oh
series.
yeah. Yes.
Um,
Right. Um,
Lorena Acosta was one of them.
them. You
Uh,
had then you actually had more because Lila
Lila,
Smith
those three, Lila.
was on there as well.
Hmm.
So and
That was cool.
right, so you had in the little short amount of time that you had that you put those series together, a lot of those people that you had were everybody else that voted on this list.
Hmm.
They were very influential. So
Hmm.
you got to interview a lot of great people, and
I
got to
did.
share a lot of really great stories and journeys, and there was just so much that came out of it. And that's what I loved about it. It was um,
Thank
it,
you.
it wasn't just hey, fluff pieces. It was we were talking about life and experiences and um, failures and just learning things that you didn't know about these people. So
Right.
um,
Well, Gabriel, I want to say it was awesome because you were out there, I think, at almost all of them.
almost all of them, I
I mean, I don't
was.
know how you are at in everyone's live stream at the same time. Like, I don't know how you pull that off, but you would show up, and I'm like, didn't I just see him? Like, where he and you were there the whole time. So I just want to just give massive gratitude for your support and encouragement because you were in the comments, you were showing up, you were letting people know about it, and for all the reasons you just said. I mean, you weren't just doing that just because of me. You were getting something out of it. Like you were learning just as long with everyone else, but you were there and so supportive. So I just want to say thank you so much for that because it really means a lot. Because I know you go and can watch a lot of different things, but you kept showing up for that series, and that was pretty cool. So
Well,
thank you for that.
I when I find people who are really really share really good content and they're really just straightforward about what they talk about and what they share and what they really have a direction with what they want people to learn from them.
I did.
I tend to gravitate towards that because again I love the fact that you're learning something from some of these conversations. I mean,
Yes.
and even if it's not even the thing that you think that you're learning, right? You're still learning things that interesting that about different people that um, you wouldn't expect. So I I love it when somebody gets to come on the show and they share something that they haven't shared anywhere else, and you're the person that gets to bring that out. So that was cool that you
Yeah.
did that, and again, you learned a lot of cool things. One of the things that I was, and me Karen Cooper talked about this when she was on the show was the fact that like Lila had talked about she loves lingerie that's
Oh,
silk,
that's right.
right?
Yeah, I just came.
Something crazy like that. I can't remember
Yeah,
now.
she's like, by the way, I used to sell amazing,
Yeah,
vintage Victorian lingerie. I was like, what? Because one of the questions was, uh, tell me something no one knows about you, right?
yes,
And so she's like, well, I actually have a story that no one probably knows. And it
right.
was
And I
cool.
heard that. I go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. That's what
I
you
was like,
want,
that's
right?
who now I know who to go to when I need a bra fitting. She's like, oh yeah, I can size you up. I know exactly what you need. I'm like, how do you know that? She goes, I know things. I'm like, okay.
There you go. Right. That's the cool thing about it, and
Yeah.
that's why I said you learn certain things about people just by watching a lot of these. I mean, that's why I go and watch as many of these streams as I possibly can because I want to learn as much about a lot of the people that I'm connected to because there's a lot of things you don't know. Um, I mean, you might have somebody that you're connected with, and maybe you've conversated or had chats with them on social media, on either Facebook or
Right.
LinkedIn or whatever. But it's getting to know that person even beyond that, right? That you learn um, certain things about their lives or their journeys that they actually open up
Hmm.
and share with you, and that's cool to be a part of. So. Um, what are some of the things like you've actually learned yourself as far as doing that whole interview series? What were some of the things
Oh,
that you took away from it, that you, not only just the interview process, but some of the, I mean, the magnitude of the whole process to put
well,
something like
okay,
that
I can
together?
tell
Let's
you.
talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Okay. So what I can tell you is that I don't know why on earth I came up with this number, this massive number of women that I wanted to interview. Like there was a point where I remember calling my mom. I'm all, I don't know why I decided to do this because it was a lot of work. So I bit off a lot, right? That's the one thing I learned is like, okay, but I don't know how to do things small. Like I tend to just go big or go home kind of thing. So I learned a lot in that the topic was specialized knowledge of successful women entrepreneurs. So selfishly, I wanted to learn from these women that I considered to be successful women entrepreneurs. Like I wanted to know how they gain the skills that they gain to become excellent in their own rights and build their own freedom empires, I like to call it. But then when they chose to get help and leverage the powers of others to do things that they needed to do. I'm someone who isn't always the best and organized when it comes to delegating. So I tend to try to do it all myself. And then I find myself going, okay, this is way too much. And I always figure it out because I'm very results oriented and I'm super crafty and creative. However, and I'm very risky. So I'll just like be all, I'll figure it out. Now, that isn't always the best approach. That is not always the most efficient or effective way to get things done, even though they get done. So, but I wanted to learn from them how they built and then when they chose to get help and who, like, what kind of things they got help for when they got to the point where they realized, okay, look, I need to hire someone, or I need to outsource or something like that. And Kelly Lorenzen, I just got to throw mad props to her because my friend Rochelle Polton, who was also on the show, recommended me to Kelly. She knew what I've been going through. She's like, you need some help with some stuff, Kenyatta. And Kelly has helped me. Hit her up. And I did. And we kind of had a talk about what everything I was doing in my business and where I might need help. And I said, look, I need help with a lot of things, but right now I got this massive project that I'm about to do. And I swear I will do it all by myself because I'm just going to figure it out. But I think that's probably number one priority. If you can help me with this project, then I think that'll be great. So she didn't do everything. Like there was a lot she didn't do because again, my delegation issues, like I designed all the graphics. I did all of, like all the promoting and everything like that. But she guided me in several things, checked on me to make sure certain things were getting done. We had conversations and then she moderated, and helped me with the production piece when it was go time for every single one of those. And so what I learned is that everyone needs help at some point. And there's a point where, especially strong, successful women entrepreneurs get to the point where they're like, okay, I need a VA. I need this. I need that. Now, Lila was the one who had right out the gate. She's like, oh, Kenyatta. She goes, I was hiring people from moment one. She goes, I don't like to do anything that I don't have to do. She's like, can I just throw money at you immediately, to have you start helping me with things? But many other people had a different way about it. They tend to have gotten to a point over time that they realized, okay, I need to get help. So that's one of the things I learned is A, get help when you need it. B, quit tripping, get help when you need it. C, find the right people and have conversations and vet and everything. And then just through the process of learning their stories and the nuggets that they shared, it's all about self-awareness, personal development, persistence, grit, blocking out the negativity. I mean, those are some themes that I got from them. And as I'm doing the 10 tip 10-day challenge, I decided to share tips from the women, in that series. So I'm doing little double tips. So my 10 tips is really them giving tips. And those conversations were an hour long. So I'm only giving like 2 minutes of what they said, but I'm going through and finding just some things that, initially stood out to me that I feel like would make a good tip for my 10 tip 10-day challenge. And so people are going to get a chance to see a little bit about what those women had to share.
That's awesome. Because again, it is a massive undertaking to do something that huge, and that's one of the hardest things to do is to go, hey, I need help, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I've had same sort of issues before where I'm like, okay, I can do everything, right? And then once you start getting in that direction, you're like, you know what? I'm overwhelmed. I got too much on my plate. I really need to find a way to delegate some of this work that doesn't, that even though you gotta learn to give up some of that creative control sometimes.
Yeah.
Trust the people. Yeah. Trust the people that you're letting do this, and they're gonna do what is in your best interest as well to help create that sort of thing. So yeah, it is kind of tough. I get the
Yeah.
I was doing the whole we were doing a whole series where we were doing roundtables on systemic racism, and
Mm-hmm.
I had two incredible people that kind of said, "Hey, we want to help you take some of the load off," and that was part of it. Was trying to say, you know what, I can do it. I can, instead of me saying just right off the bat, here, you guys take it. It was one of those things like, oh, I don't know. After a while, you figure out, you know what, just take control of it. I trust you're going to do whatever's the best and what needs to be done, and then you move forward. And that's one of the hardest things to do whenever you're trying to do anything business wise. Even as, like you said, even as entrepreneurs, is figuring out when is the right time. Do I need a VA? When do I need a virtual assistant? When do I need some of these things? So yeah, these are some of the things that we're even now as I'm doing these sort of things to figure out ways to get what I do and pass it along to somebody else, so I can say, you know what, I have so much going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's a scalability. It's at a point, you get to a point where you're starting to scale, and that's where I am right now. And so again, selfishly, I wanted to know, right? Like, what does this look like? And also too, the topic of specialized knowledge actually came from Think and Grow Rich, right? It's one of the chapters in the book. And it's one of the most important, I mean, all of them are important, but it's one of the most important chapters where you really have to decide what it is that you want, because you already would have figured that out by this chapter. And then what skills you need to gain. Like, people need to take time to learn the thing they need to learn to get really good at it, to become really good. Like, you've learned certain things about how to, even through this show and everything like that. I remember you were on Russ's show long time ago, and you were like, man, how do you do, like, you were so curious before you had the life. I remember you from back then, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna do it. And then you just did it, but you had to take time to learn specific things to do that. And sometimes I think that we need to be reminded that most things like this don't happen overnight, right? There's a process and a decision you have to make to go, okay, I'm going to learn this right now. Right? Or I'm not going to learn it. I'm going to get someone else to learn it for me. Right? And so, but then you figure out what you love to do. It doesn't mean you should always be doing it. Like, for instance, I love creating my own graphics. I love everything you have. I can do that stuff. Do I need to be doing it? Yeah, but I really love it. So then there's that. I do edit all my own videos and everything. So at some point, some things are going to need to be given over to someone else. Another selfish thing I did in the interview series is that every single one of the women took their behavioral superpower exercise before. And that was designed because I wanted to have a conversation with each of them to see what they thought about the information. And some of them had known that information for months, and others took it like the day before. And so so it was really interesting. It was like a research situation for me, because that's my industry. That's what I do. So again, you have to make conscious decisions to learn what you need to learn to be good at your craft. So I had an opportunity to have 14 different people, all walks of life and everything, and gather data really about what this information looks like to them and how it's valuable to them. So that was also part of it as well. I was data mining.
Yeah, right.
And they knew that. I was like, we're going to talk about this because I want to know how you interpret this information and how it's relevant to you, because this is what I do, my coaching practice and everything else I do. So
yeah, and in some senses, you're also learning a lot about yourself as well, taking information from other people, saying, okay, now that I know this, how can I use it to help develop and change the way when I go back and coach somebody else who might have a similar situation or something that's very close to it and go, you know what, I've dealt with this before. I've talked with somebody who's actually gone through this and this,
Right.
and you
Right.
just, because that's what we're talking about here. I feel the same way whenever I get into different groups. Like, so this gentleman here, like, we're in a group together, but he's,
Ronan.
yes.
Hey,
So,
Ronan.
so he's saying that, of course, for VAs to work, you got to have a good process in place, and
Yes.
and that's so true.
Yes.
But even to that, what we're talking about, I learned from other people so much just by having conversations and saying, you know what, like just like you, I want to know that information. It's vital for me
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what I want to do next or what I'm going to learn to do with my career. Or so I take away so much from different people. So this is why when somebody wants to sit there and share information with you, you'd be a fool to not at least listen and go, man, there's got to be there's some kind of information. There's
Who's
nothing.
calling you?
Oh, that is my. So what that is that's my notification. Let me turn that off on my phone because what
Are
happened.
people like commenting or messaging? Hey, I figured out how to do the watch party in my personal development party group.
Oh,
I think
cool.
people are doing, or I have my phone here, so if you see me looking over here, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be cool like you and have like multiple screens and my mic and my light and I got my iPad over here and I got my phone right here and I could be engaging and all that. So hey, people in the personal development party, if you're watching, drop a comment or a heart or something. I don't know. There's technical things you should be doing. I see like Suki saying in here, oh, she's talking about giving up control. Oh yeah, Suki's a take charge, spontaneous influence. He doesn't like to give up control.
Well, that's so for some people that's a very hard decision to make. Is to say, I don't want to give up. But for my thing is, look, if it helps you reach your goal, I don't think giving up control is a bad thing. I mean, if it helps you get to where you've been planning to do, as long as it doesn't compromise certain things that you values and stuff like that.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just here's the thing. Okay, I'm the behavioral scientist. So I'm going to say that some people are wired to be either like a take charge or cooperative, delegating or not. And we're wired that way. So because of that, someone like myself and someone like Susan Jeffries, who I very well, I'm her coach. We both are the people who have a hard time doing that. So we have to consciously make a decision to go, all right, hand that over. Let someone else do that. Give that up. While someone else might be totally the opposite. And they're like Lila, clearly. She's like, oh my God, I was giving stuff away from day one. You know what I mean? Like, so we're wired a certain way. So it just is. And we have to, that could be our power or our kryptonite. Reality is, are we going to recognize it and let it hold us back and derail our performance? Or are we going to figure out a way to make it happen because it's going to get the positive result, right? And still not keep us up at night, So.
And again, that's that's a thing that it's very hard to fight against that. But I think once you learn that there is a value in being able to do that, those are the kind of people who say, wow, I should have done this years ago.
Yeah, I'm saying that right now. I'm one of them. I got someone else who's helping me with, my send out cards. I'm like, why should I wait? I asked her, I said, why didn't you make me have this conversation with you sooner? She's like, Kenyatta, I've been talking to you for years. I've been trying. So yeah, some of us are hard-headed.
It is. And but once, that's a good thing. We still have the opportunity to turn it around and at least learn from those sort of things. That's why I said taking in this intake of information that you were getting through these interviews.
Mm-hmm.
same sort of deal that I take when I do these interviews myself. There's things that I learn from different people that come on the show. There's always something that somebody drops in there and goes, wow, okay, that's something that I can use either practically, or I can use it instill it into something that I do with my show or online, or how I do it in whatever it is I do to create on social media. You learn so much from just having these sort of conversations. So this is why I tell people, it's why I really focus on these kind of people first interviews, because again, this is they're actually sharing their journeys, their wisdom, and their experiences with you. And I mean, that's since the beginning of time, that's how we've learned as a society.
Right. So, from talking, right? Having conversation.
What do you think teachers do to us? And when we were sitting in class, talking and teaching you, so listen to what somebody tells you and go, ooh, okay.
Right.
Cool. I've taken away from this conversation. And even like tonight, okay, I need to really start looking at finding somebody to handle some of the things that, even though I know how to do them, even though I could probably do them myself, to start saying, you know what, I shouldn't have to though.
Right.
And again, you don't have to give up total control. Just kind of lay out for these people what you want. I mean, most of the times.
Well, it's smart to give up that control. You know what I mean? It's okay. So here's the thing. Here's what I've realized. Let me just put it this way. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I know that as I learned this skill of scaling my business and realizing I can no longer handle certain things. There's certain things I don't want to do. I don't like to do anyway. And then when I do them, I don't do them well. So I need to give them up. Okay. And then I'm always talking about, walk in your greatness of your superpower. Do what you're built to do. Avoid the square peg, round hole. I square peg, round hole stuff. I don't like it. So as I learn not to do that and find a round peg to put in a round hole, it's peaceful and bliss. And that's all I'm trying to do, is live in my happy place as long as possible, whenever possible, for as long as possible. So, but as I learn to do this, it's so freeing and liberating. And I feel super smart. Like I feel super smart. Like when I'm like, oh, someone else has got, or when something else is happening that I'm not making happen, like, and it's happening on its own, I'm like, oh, what a novel idea, that email got sent out and it wasn't me who sent it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm getting excited about it. Now I get a little shot of dopamine in my brain when something happens for my business or for my well-being that I didn't physically make happen. I'm getting addicted to that feeling. So
yeah, and again, it's not like the other person on the other side doesn't know that it's not you sending it out. They just go, hey,
who cares?
Who cares, right? I mean, it's like the comments in here. So I like this one.
What is Senor?
So he said,
he dropped his burrito.
Yes, and then I asked him back. I said,
5-second rule.
I said, is it okay? And then he says, well, at 22:49, Kenyatta said to drop something. That's all. That's all. So
it's all good.
It's all good, man. Like she said,
I don't know that guy. He sounds cool. I think I should know him.
He is. He's a regular on here. He's one of the. He's one of my favorite commenters on here because he does stuff like that all the time, and I just get crazy people in here sometimes. I have a gentleman. He's a troll that comes in here. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know how we got connected, but he comes in here and he'll drop comments, and sometimes I will pull him up in the stream, but other times they're just like long, huge, comments, or they're so crazy they just don't make sense. So sometimes I'm actually doing it live and I'll see it and I just giggle to myself inside because again, it's like, what does that mean? Why? So, and again, he's probably not here tonight. He shows up periodically. So his name is Groven Wong. And if
Great big mom will keep an eye out for him.
if you see him, he goes into people's streams and he just. But I don't know if that's how he really conversates, but trolls are even yes.
A thing on LinkedIn.
They are actually a thing that actually works. And I'm learning that now because again I've seen them everywhere else on my YouTube stream. I've had people start talking about soccer in the middle of my live stream. Like, I don't know where you came from, but okay.
People got nothing better to do. They're like, ooh, who can I go mess with now?
Now and let me tell you, it's okay. It's fun to do, right? I know because I drop in so many other people's streams, but I try to formulate it so it goes with the flow of the conversation. I just don't throw stuff that's like off the wall.
Yeah,
right?
You're not just dropping and being weird. You're like contributing to the conversation,
or try to. So, like one of my favorites is when I start seeing people on a live stream talking about creating content, right? And of course, one of the things, the touching points that they get to is, of course, talking about creating good content at scale and talking about content that adds value, valid points, and it's true what they're talking about. I just like to throw them off track a little bit, and I go, "Oh, okay, cool." So I'm new to creating content, and I will ask them, if I created a post that said, "Do you like me? Yes or no?" and drop your answer in the comments. Is that good? I said, "Is that good content that's going to create value? That's going to draw engagement?" And most of the time, they're like, "No, that's probably not good." It's not going to work, but they don't know. I mean, sometimes I can tell the ones that do because then they just don't put the comment in there.
I totally get it, and here's my take on that. How could I say this? People need to lighten up. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, they just need to lighten up. I have a post that I did a while ago, and I don't know. I was hearing a lot of like rhetoric about people deciding what they think people should be posting. And I was like, can't we just leave people alone and let them post what they want to post? Because if you don't like it, like, you can really just scroll past it, or you can delete that person, or I don't know. It's just, and I guess here's the thing I was going to say about it is that, or I said then, I'll say now. And this also goes to people who are trying to connect with people in order to do business with them or whatever, is that the fact that someone is getting out of their comfort zone and being courageous by doing something like that anyway, and putting themselves out there for the whole world to criticize, laugh at, do all the crazy things that people do when you just show up sometimes. Like, first off, I give them mad props for that, because that's a scary thing for people to do. Are they doing it correctly? Well, I don't think anyone even knows what correctly is. So, I mean, people are saying, well, to be so judgmental, I think is not cool. I think what's cool is to try to be supportive, and just, if you don't like it, then don't look at it. Like, I don't know. But now, I'm not the boss of content creators. I'm not anyone other than Kenyatta who has an opinion. I've got lots of them. They're free to me. They just come flowing out of my head, right? So I just realized I'm just going to do what I feel is right and well within my own heart. And I can't expect everyone to be interested in it. If that means I'm going to drop a little, hey, do you like me? Yes or no? Or, because I do stuff like that in my group all the time. Like, ketchup on eggs. Is that a thing? And someone might say, well, how is that helping anybody? I don't have to explain how it's helping anybody. I think it's funny.
Right? Just to step outside of the box a little bit, right? Because again, there is a time and a place for creating serious content, and like you said, people that go on there and change it. Like one of our friends today in our VIP group, she created her first LinkedIn video today, right? So she shared her first video today, and it was, it was really good. It was really open. She was very authentic in what she was saying, and it was one of those videos that you like to go back and say, now that's a good first video to create, even if you fear,
Cool.
but she was so scared to do it right at first.
Yeah.
But once she created the video and she put it on there, people started to comment, people started to say things, because it just touched the nerve, and it was really, it was one of those things where you want to support somebody like that.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you want to say, that's great. Create content. Yes. So even Rowan was watching it, and it was an right.
Mm-hmm.
And because we were talking about creating our first videos, and me and him both agree our first videos were shit. It was go because we shared our videos between each other, and it was very bad for me. It was very bad lighting, very bad direction, looking into a camera, very bad. Because again, I was very unfamiliar
right.
with what I was doing. So, but some people, like I said, you don't know whether
you only say it's bad now because you feel like you know better now. You know what I mean? It was probably fine. But you're comparing it, right? You're comparing to all your fancy equipment you got right now, and your clear lighting and your screens. And I saw the one time you swung the camera around. You're like, "Here's my studio." I'm like, "What is all that stuff?" So you're only comparing it to like what you know now. But even then, just something on your cell phone, going, "Hey," like if you choose to. Because here's the thing: no one has to create anything. I just love the idea of continuing to support people who are, and I don't know who made the rule book because there ain't no rule book. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no social media rule book. We don't even know what we were doing. 20-something years ago, we weren't doing this at all. So
it's because people get that.
We're having a good time. So
it's because people get that spoonful of people like, and not to say that he's bad, but somebody like Gary Vee that tells you over and over and over again, hey, you need to be creating content every day. You need to create it at scale. You need to do this. You need to do this. That can be intimidating for some folks, right? To say, you know what, I just want to put an honest, open video out there and share my feelings.
I do believe, though, even still, there are strategies that in any kind of market that you're marketing, right? There are certain strategies that may work well for certain industries or not, and so I do understand and believe in that. If that's your purpose, then there are probably some things you probably should employ that maybe, success leaves clues, right? So if people are being successful and getting traction doing one thing that may or may not work for you, you might want to take a look at it, do your research, decide if it makes sense. Again, these are loosey-goosey rules, though, because no matter how you look at it, there's a certain amount of spaghetti that's in your hand that you are smacking, throwing at that wall. Like you can have all the algorithms and all the data and all that, but there's still some guesswork, I think. And so that's where the loosey-goosiness is, and like forgiveness and learning and trying and being inventive and creative and just seeing certain things. But man, if you're not having fun, don't do it. And if it's like exhausting to you and you feel like you're being just completely ridiculed over it, then you're probably running in the wrong circles, So anyway, to go back to my whole idea, this one post I did a long time ago is like, just everyone, just be cool, man. Like that was kind of my message. It's like, just be cool, man. And like, be supportive and encouraging and loving. And what does Russ always say? Smiles are free and kindness is cool,
Yes, it is.
Like do that and everything's probably going to be all right. Have integrity with what you're doing. Be ethical, and do your thing, and it's probably going to work. And that's
exactly right. So exactly.
What does Enrique say? The spaghetti analogy.
Yeah. There you go.
Take a handful of spaghetti, throw at wall, see what happens.
Again, right? Because again, you don't know exactly what can come from something like that, right? I mean, not in a million years I had what I had expected. All of this that you see that, all right, had I not just said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to sit down and take an opportunity and just start talking and being who I am, right? So, um, yeah, what I talk about, what I've done, and what I create have changed from the very beginning. But I still hold those first few videos in such high regard for myself because, again, it was when I go back and watch. It's not the fact that it was crappy because it is, but it's the courage that I took to go ahead
Yes, the courage.
to
My
say, you know
my
what?
my first LinkedIn video was the 10 tip 10-day challenge.
Ooh,
And I did also my first video was day one because Karen Joseph dared me, to do it. And I look back at those and I'm just like, wow, I've come so far.
so so
So
this is Anna Maria. She's the one that actually did the video today. So
oh hey Anna Maria, congrats on your first
first
video.
video,
I heard it was
was
amazing.
it was a really great video. It was again very
Yeah.
it was very real, very authentic, and that's what we loved about it. Is the fact that I enjoy those so much when I get to see somebody and they say, hey, "This is my first video." Cool, I want to watch it. You
Yeah.
know, right? Because again, you don't know if that's going to be the. To me, it doesn't matter if it's the first or the last time you do a video. At least you were courageous enough to put it out there
Mhm.
and share what you wanted to say in that moment that you just felt compelled to say, you know what, I have to record what I'm talking about, and I'll
Right.
share it with a whole bunch of strangers, and who knows.
Powerful. People learn and grow from that. You don't know what anyone's gonna hear or say. You don't know how the impact that you can make by doing that. And by no means does anyone have to. That I will say that all day long. No one has to do a video. I don't say everyone should do a video. I don't think that's true. I think though, if you have something you'd like to share, that it now has created an environment where you can share. And but prior to this, you couldn't share in this way. So if you are compelled, then give it a shot. But by no means do you have to. And all people out there in TV land watching, no one is saying that you have to do this. But if you're compelled to do it and you feel the desire and you feel um, that you can learn through it or help someone else learn by the act of doing it, then I encourage you to try it, and just
I
try
mean,
it.
exactly, because you're never going to figure out whether or not it's going to be able to impact somebody else. And like I said, if you feel bad about it, you don't want to do it again. You don't have to, and you can just slip away in anonymity. No,
Right, right.
it'll be just be one video. But again, what if you get so much engagement from it, and someone else you want to do the next video? You want to talk about the next thing that you feel, the next thing that you want to share.
Right.
It can be a chain reaction to go. You know what? I like doing this because again, I feel like I may or may not indirectly be helping somebody.
Right.
Um,
You'd be surprised. I'm speaking of someone who 3 years ago I was not doing video. And like I said, that 10 tip 10-day challenge was the first time I did any sort of recorded video that posted online. Prior to that, I have a friend, Karen Joseph, who had a group called Live Stream Super Live Streamers. I can't think of what it was called, but it was a safe place on Facebook where you can go and practice Facebook Lives. And she asked me to go to that as well. And I'm like, I'm not doing Facebook Lives. You're never going to catch me doing that. That was what I told her 3 years ago, right? And then she dared me to do the 10 tip. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then I did it. So fast forward. That 10 tip 10-day challenge changed my life, changed my business. And people are like, well, why do you say that? That's weird. Well, because in the act of doing it, it helped me grow out of my comfort zone that I was in, where I didn't want to share on video and have my face out on the interwebs, right? And it gave me an opportunity to connect with people that expanded my mind to things, because they were drawn to the videos for whatever reason. We connected, we talked, we had Zooms, and I started Zooming a lot and everything like that. Then fast forward, even still, is that the act of doing it helped me realize that I had a way to help people in a way I didn't know I had. I knew how to do it in person because I'd always been doing it. But then now I was like, well, wait, I can do that through video too, you know? So it was really just for me a catalyst for Freedom Empire Consulting. I could literally track it back to that, where that doing those videos, even I was talking about LegalShield when I did those videos because there was no Freedom Empire Consulting. I was talking about LegalShield, but through that process, things morphed and grew and this and my classes and teaching and this and that. And then here I am. Now I'm hosting a mastermind for women called Behavior and Grow Rich. By the way, hey, applications deadline tomorrow night. For those who are interested, I got spots left. I got a few women in it already, several women already. And I'm now, behavioral superpowers coach. What? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm growing this massive universe of helping people behaviorally learn things. And I can go on and on, but it started with the idea that let me just try this thing because she dared me. Hey, there's Brian.
There he is, Mr. Shulman.
In the house. She dared me, and then I did it, right? But I say all that to say is I'm not someone who did this for 20 years like some people. That's not me. I'm fairly new school with.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you're not Brian Shulman.
I'm not Brian Shulman. I'm not a professional like Brian Shulman, right?
Who's really great on who's really great but been doing it for a while, but he is you can learn from those people, and I think that's what people are taking away from you now.
I learned a lot from him,
and people like now are going, oh wow, Kenyatta Turner, I'm watching her and I'm taking so much away from what she's doing. You're like, 3 years ago I wasn't doing this. I mean,
no,
same sort of deal with me. 10 months ago, I wasn't doing this.
Right.
So in the span of 10 months, not even a year yet, in a span of 10 months, I've been able to get to this point. And I think that's why once you figure out that you can work past certain things, fear, procrastination, whatever you want to call them, whatever barriers you want to put in front of you, you learn to work past those things.
Right.
You're looking at the results of what can happen. Again, the 3 year
value you've brought in 10 months. Like I haven't seen all your shows, but I know enough. I see you almost everywhere else to know the value that your shows are bringing, right? And people that you have on the conversations, I've been able to pop in, and like in 10 months, you going from not doing this at all to like I'm going to do that, right? And then like here you are, on LinkedIn Live, which I don't even have yet because we can talk about it. I'm like, I need to apply. Hey, LinkedIn, if you're listening, and I know you are because you always are. When I apply for LinkedIn Live, approve my application.
So I'm going to do this again. I want you to say that one more time, and we're going to do that full screen because you need to tell them. There you go. Tell them all.
LinkedIn, I know you're listening because you always are. When I, Kenyatta Turner, applies for LinkedIn Live, hit the accept button on my application. Thank you very much.
There you go. Right. So there you go, LinkedIn. She's really telling you. She's really telling you straightforward that approve it because again, I
accept this girl.
What drives me nuts sometimes is when people have it and they don't use it, and it's a very fickle thing to have it.
Who has it and doesn't use it? I want to know these people.
I can't tell you. I'll tell you off the air. I'm not going to tell
okay,
on the air.
Offline. I want to know who they are.
I'll spill beans a little bit, but I'm not going to tell anything up front. But again, to me, it's a very useful tool because there's so many people that I know that have content that would translate so well on this platform, but because they don't have access to like using LinkedIn or streaming on LinkedIn Live, they take their content somewhere else. And exactly. Right. I mean,
I haven't applied yet. It's not like I've applied and been denied. I got to fill out my application, but I'm ready now. Again, I wouldn't have known what to do with it. Again, like this is still like a learning process for me. But now I'm like ready. It's go time. I got a gazillion ideas, of what I can do. And here's another thing that interview series was really an experimental type of thing, right? I needed to see, like, I already do interviews and I do Zooms with people and I record them and I've got more content than I need. I hoard it all. I don't put it out there. Again, I need to get some help, right? But I'm always recording stuff, But now I'm like, hey, oh, she didn't know there's an application process.
Yes.
That, Yeah, let's apply. They'll approve you too,
Yes.
But so the whole idea of like me figuring out, like, does this interview? I mean, I interviewed those women one a day for like 3 weeks. Now, when I say this to Russ Johns, he's like, whatever, Kenyatta. I got 200 million episodes of the Pirate Broadcast every morning at 7 a.m. And you're like crying about 14 women at 2:00 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday.
Right.
I'm like, that was hard. That was a bitch. You know what I mean? Like pulling all that together and being accountable and present and all that. That was new to me. But it was really a process of me learning and trying to see, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? What's sustainable? Am I really bringing value? Is the audience really digging this? Is it helpful? How do the guests feel about it? All of these things. I was kind of taking inventory and taking stock, to really figure out
because
how else I want to help people, because that's what I do. But
yeah,
how else can I spread the message?
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you, it is a huge undertaking to do. So having a good process in place is one of the best things if you're going to be doing something like this. And I don't recommend people doing this every day. It is insane. Like, people ask me all the time, how come you don't do micro content or anything like that? I said, it's because.
What is that?
Like, okay, taking something like in our interview, let's just say our interview, there's like maybe 2 or 3 nuggets that you dropped that I would say, you know what, these are really important. I can reshare these, cut it down, cut the audio and video, kind of like what you're doing with your 10 tips.
Oh, yeah. Right? Okay, that's micro content. Okay. Ooh, learned a new little word.
So, yeah. So you could take a piece like this and create it into smaller pieces of micro content that you repurpose and reshare out on either your Facebook group or Twitter, wherever it is you post it at. But it takes time to do that. That's why I said at some point for me, that's where when I go to the delegation process next is taking, guess what, guys, whoever you are, the person that you're going to be doing, at this point I have almost 170 episodes. Have fun. This is what I want. Go through, find, this is,
you've got the long content that anything can be done with it. I see.
And at that point, you cut it down and you just go back and you start sharing it so that you can not only share a good lesson that somebody might have said, right, that somebody learned from, but you can also drive people back to your content to go watch it on either where you have it on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you have your content stored at. So it's a good way to drive people back there as well and go, you know what, that was a cool interview. Let's just say the interview you did with Karen Markle, you were like, if there were a few things that you could take from that and go, oh, cool. I love Kenyatta and I love Karen, and they talked about so many different things. I want to go rewatch the interview. So by doing and creating those pieces of micro content and resharing it, it keeps people top of mind of, oh yeah, you did that. Let me watch that. Or even then, somebody who might be going, hey, I'm going to be interviewing Karen next week. Let me go watch that interview, right? It's just a great way to get people to go back and watch your content, and it keeps it fresh. Especially if somebody, and I recommend this to people, if you do like a once a week show, hit that stuff hard. Really do create that.
I have I don't know if it's a show. I mean, I go live my Freedom Friday.
That's a show.
Is that a show?
That's a show. You're doing a show
a week, and I go live on that. Okay, so
you're creating a show. Yes, you're doing the work, and it's something that you again sharing with your group of people And again, your group's always growing. So if it's creating, it's touching somebody new. But again, as new people start to come in those groups, you start creating that smaller pieces of content that you've done and shared, and people who will join the group say, "Hey, I haven't seen that before. I want to go watch that interview. Who I know who Lila Smith is. I'm going to go watch that interview again, or I'm going to go,
if I put it somewhere, they can get it.
Start right.
Yeah, it's a ton. I mean, each of those interviews were an hour, and there's so much content there that I, still deciding all the ways I want to use it. But this was the first way, thinking the micro content, that's a fancy word. I'm going to tell people I made some micro content for my 10 tip 10 days. And I actually decided that I wasn't going to do the videos. I was going to let them share the tips. That was me just being clever and trying to figure out a way to do it and not have to do it myself. But either way, that's a great idea. I'm totally picking up what you're putting down. And it's a great reminder for someone like me who has so much content. And I like my Freedom Friday Live at 5, when I first did it in the group, I didn't even record it. And I'm like, why didn't you record that? That was good stuff. Now I record it.
Right.
So now I have them recorded, and they are being hoarded right now because I haven't done anything with them yet. But I think that I have a YouTube channel coming, people in TV land, if you care, it's coming someday soon, and it'll probably all be posted there for you to take a look at.
Exactly. And this is one of the things I tell people when I kind of coach them to do their own sort of shows.
You're welcome, Enrique. Sorry, I'm reading his little comment you put up there. Thank you.
Of course, right? There you go. Micro content is key.
All right, Bill. Sounds like an authority on that.
Right? So, and even like what Pedro was saying, right? It says it might have not been consumed now, but it might be consumed later. So keeping that content like you're doing and creating micro content will kind of get people to go maybe watch older episodes. So I tell people this when I say, look, even though you may not know about YouTube, if you're going to stream to YouTube anyway. I'll tell you why. Number one, use their data to store all your videos. It's a great way to, if somebody asks,
everything. Okay.
Well, here's the thing: if somebody asks, "Oh, do you have that video available?" If you have everything hoarded, here's the problem. Well, I got to download it. Where as opposed to with YouTube, you go to YouTube, go to the video you want, click a shareable link, pass it to them. It will take them straight to your YouTube channel, and they can watch it there, right there without even.
Yeah, that's so smart. Because that's always happening to me. Literally, it's always happening where someone needs a video about something, and I'm trying to find where it is, and then I got to download it. Then I got to make a little link that they can click out of the drop. That's why it just needs to be, like you said, on YouTube. Because then go to my YouTube channel. Well, it's coming.
And even in the same thing with Pedro saying, there's other places to do this. So Twitch is one of them. YouTube's another one, and Facebook can also keep a lot of your content. But it's again, I like to kick people to. I like to keep people to YouTube because then again, on top of that, it draws viewer to your channel there, and somebody might watch and go, "Oh, well, I'll subscribe to her."
Yeah, and that's a play sandbox I've not gotten into yet. Like of the platforms, that one is next because it hasn't had, but I'm ready. I got all the content. I just need to put them on YouTube. MTQ and I were talking about that before. That's a next logical step. It makes sense.
And I tell people, I mean, you don't have to go on there and be Mr. 1 million views YouTube person. No, you can just go on there and be 100, 1,000, whatever it is, right? As long as you go on there and you're active with a lot of the content that you're creating, I mean, sometimes it just naturally draws people. And I mean, I've grown my channel in 10 months to, I think it's 1.18 or 1,180 subscribers, right? So I'm almost at 1,200 subscribers. But a lot of that has to do with me going every time that I would send somebody or going, hey, or I have a guest on or whatever it is. If I'm trying to promote my YouTube channel more than anything, I go, hey, please check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe, please. Anybody you have watching, you know what the most shared link that I share with everybody when they ask, where can I catch the broadcast at?
Your YouTube?
Now, I send it to my YouTube. Now, if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn and you're not watching on LinkedIn, I try to funnel people over there to go watch on my YouTube channel. Because, again, I'm trying to work on growing it. So if I'm going to do that, I want to funnel people as much as I possibly can. So, I mean, I'm learning ways to do this now. So, like if you have let's just say for example, before we go into this real quick, so say you have in your Facebook group, you have like over 100 comments for some reason, and you want to respond back to them. You're not going to sit there and write a comment to every single person that you're going to.
I try. It's not impossible.
It's almost impossible. So here's the solution. Record a small video on YouTube, right? Telling everybody what it is that just if you want to reply to the ones who were really thoughtful in what they wrote, right? And they wrote like a couple of really deep, thoughtful lines. Okay, reply to those 9 or 10 people.
Yeah.
Everybody else, create yourself a video on YouTube. Dress it up if you want to. You don't have to, but create a video on there telling everybody why, thank you so much, whatever. Get that link. Once you click that link and copy it, go back and paste it to every single person in there, because don't even write, I'm going to tell you what, don't even write a thing on there.
And that'll help them go to the YouTube page and then sign up. Well, it's so funny. Okay, so people in TV land, and included in TV land are people in my personal development party group, because I'm doing the watch party in the group right now. Yes. So when you guys see me do that on your comments, know that it was Gabriel who told me that I can do that. So when you get it, I didn't make that up. He suggested it. All right. You guys might like it. But again, and let me say this about the video thing, because I recently started using Dubb, D-U-B-B. I really like it. And and I'm totally going to be incorporating that more into my video content, because it's just smart, with the, the CTAs, and people can go to your websites, and there's I'm just barely scratching the scratch of it, but I really love it. And I'm excited. And thank you again, Russ Johns, for turning me on to it, because it's just a really cool platform. So
it is. So you have video to do that with like apps like Loom and this is why I just say why I kind of implore people to use YouTube, because again, you want to, if you're trying to draw traffic, you have the ability to on your YouTube channel to put a featured video right there. So if somebody goes there to go watch that link, right? There's a featured video that you might want to put on there. Hey, this is the interview that I did with so-and-so. It's front and center on your page. Somebody might go there and click the video that you sent them and go say that thank you so much. And they might stay there just long enough to go, you know what, let me watch this video. I like her content. I'm going to subscribe to her channel. And just mention it as much as possible to say, hey, please, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the channel. Please consider subscribing. Whatever it is you tell them, build your own script. If that's what you're trying to do, is build YouTube. Because again, it is, especially like in videos, which I think a lot of the content that you have, you're going to have a lot of how-to videos. With what I mean by that is telling people about learning about their superpowers and learning about
communication, whatever. Yeah, teaching lots of stuff. Mm-hmm.
So you actually have teaching videos that are going on there to teach people certain things. So you're going to be able to use the how-to, which is that's the only thing that really people that go to YouTube to go look for.
That's what I go look for.
They want to know. They either want to know how to, or they want to figure out.
I go for how to. I think it's probably the most thing I look for.
Right. So, and that's one of the things that they'll tell you is if you're creating videos on there.
Okay, so let me shift gears and tell you this, that I just realized when you and I were talking a couple weeks ago, on your laughter or your laughing episode, right? And the idea that once something's on LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, sorry, YouTube, it's there forever, and people can still go back. Because remember, you and I were talking about Ask a Ninja, right?
Yes.
and he's been putting episodes on there for 6 years. You and I go and look at one, pull it up on StreamYard, and we're like cracking up, it's something that's like 6 years old.
Exactly, right?
So that's a beautiful like idea to go, wait a minute, it like literally just is eternal.
And again, you're using, and again, you're
Hello,
using
David James Hugh Jr. Waving.
Yes, new to the conversation. So, exactly, that's what they go for. The problem, that's what you want to go to for
solve the problem.
So you use Google to figure out where and why, and then you go to YouTube to go figure out how. So that's what most people go in that direction. So they'll go Google search whatever, and then it'll tell them the how to go to YouTube, and then boom, there it goes. So again, if you're really trying to concentrate on there, I tell people, please to go there and use it as, if anything else, as a storage. I mean,
I'm with you. I'm sold.
I don't keep my videos on my laptop or on a hard drive at all. I don't have a need to. If I ever need to go pull anything, that little secret that I showed you with YouTube,
I remember.
Right? Okay, you can just go there, pull whatever you want,
and do what I want with it.
Do what you want with it, and then be gone. It is something that, again, so you don't take up hard drive space, you don't slow your computer down, you don't do any of these things.
No. Well, and it just sounds cool to say, oh, here's my YouTube link.
It is. Right?
No, so it's coming. It's coming. People listen to me.
David is saying, coming. I want to hear this. He's saying,
I'm a ninja.
Ask me. Okay, so.
Ask me. Oh, we can ask him something?
So we're going to ask him, since he's saying he isn't ninja, right?
Okay.
What is a great way to kill somebody as a ninja? What is your favorite way to kill somebody as a ninja? So let's figure that out first. So,
and what was the one we were watching? It was like how to make a chaos pie or something.
Right. Yes. He was making chaos pie. And he was telling you got to have a little bit of.
I can't remember, but it was cracking me up. He's like a little bit of humanity, and then like slice the confusion real thin. What's he saying?
Okay, so he says, kill them with love.
With love.
I thought I was going to get a katana blade right to the jugular.
What kind of ninja are you?
So let's go ahead and ask the money question. This is the question I've asked everybody that's come on the show. Yes, this is my money question. So here it goes. So when the book is said and done on Kenyatta, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, and what do you want to be remembered for? Yes.
Wow. So, and you could probably guess this answer. However, I want to be known for being part of the team that really launched this behavioral superpower movement. Like that is one of the things I will leave, is that you will know that I was one of them that created this movement of behavioral identity, behavioral branding, behavioral science for 12-year-olds and up. And then we're working on being able to do it for younger individuals. Like the self-awareness movement of that, like what we're creating, that universe, like I am one of the 3, I could say, there's more, but the core group of individuals that are doing that. And that's part of the legacy that I will leave. That's why you will never hear me stop talking about it. Ever.
Well, there you go.
Ever.
So, yeah. So I just got a troll here. He says he's putting a LinkedIn post for.
Is that what a troll does?
Yeah, they put Hell Satan Poet activity. So there you go.
The wild world of the interwebs.
Look at this.
Hey,
I gotta say.
Carol. Hi, Carol. Oh, I love her.
Right? She's been on the show twice, so she's a vet. I've
She's
had her on.
awesome.
Yes, she is. She's got her.
Yeah.
She's actually doing her own live of her Divine Breadcrumb show that she does, the podcast that she was doing. So she does it live now with her and her
on LinkedIn.
Podcast. No, not yet. They don't have LinkedIn. It's the same problem that we all have. Well, not we all have, but
not we all. Yeah, you don't have that problem. What are you talking about?
Exactly right. I was trying to include myself in there, but
no, you're not included in that.
But it's those who again, I think their content would be really good on LinkedIn, but they don't have it. But they stream on Facebook, so I watch it whenever they go live. So they went live today, and they're fluctuating with their times because they're trying to find what the optimal time for them to stream is and to have engagement, because it is exactly not yet, Carol. You will someday, but not yet.
Not yet. Have you applied, Carol?
Yeah. I don't know. I hope so. Hopefully she has. If not,
yeah, I haven't yet. That's I'm curious. I'm like, it's funny. This thing I want that I haven't even really asked for yet. Obviously, I don't want it that bad.
so David says now he can be a ninja. He said, "Send me the trolls." I'll take care of it.
Take care, David.
Take care, David. But Carol, thank you so much.
Fun. Like, how long have we been talking? Like, this is cool.
An hour and 12 minutes. That's how fast it goes whenever you're having a good time, and it doesn't even seem like it just blows by.
Well, so I'm a chatterbox, so you got to tell me, cut. You know.
Me both. I talked 2 hours. Well, Russ came on last night. We did like an election sort of coverage thing that we did where we streamed some of the live election coverage. Election coverage into the stream, and we were just talking a little bit over it. So, but again, we were talking about just the things that have gone all around that rotated this year, with having to deal with COVID, with having to deal with race riots, and all the other stuff that we were just talking about. But
how long were you guys talking?
So I think he was on at least with me for an hour, and then me and another gentleman named Adam Sinkus, who's another live streamer, we stayed on there. I think the whole show was like 2.5 hours. Wow. We just sit there.
That's cool. I see me doing something like that. Like when I get live, that'll be me. I'll be all, come talk with me and hang out. Oh, thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. But yeah, this is cool. I'm excited. Thanks for letting me be on the show. I appreciate it because fun. Like, you know, and this is so great to talk to you anyway. And it doesn't matter. We could be talking not being on live, and it would be like this anyway.
Right? We'd still be talking about it. We did it already. So
yeah. Now other people just have to listen to our rhetoric.
Exactly. So, Kenyatta, if you want to just tell everybody where they can find you, and then let them know about your class as well, and what the deadline is for it before we get out of here.
So my name is Kenyatta Turner with Freedom Empire Consulting. You can find me at www.freedomempireconsulting.com. I am on LinkedIn as Kenyatta Turner. I have a Facebook page that's about a couple months old. I'm very proud of Freedom Empire Consulting LLC. You can email me, Kenyatta Turner, Freedom Empire Consulting. Like, it's all the same. Oh, but if you like personal development, let's talk about that. I've got a Facebook group called the Personal Development Party. Self-improvement and motivation for positive pals. It's a really long name. Okay. But we've had fun in there. I don't know. I have fun in there. You know, I think other people might too. Some of you are watching because I'm doing a watch party in there, but we got like 1,500 people in there. And I'm about to do a 3-day challenge that's coming up. Those of you listening, keep an ear out because you'll probably hear more next week. So a 3-day challenge is going to come up. That's all about quadratic communication.
Ooh,
what is that?
That sounds very in-depth and
very in-depth. You know me, go big or go home. So, quadratic communication, 3-day challenge. I'm doing a growth, another epic extravaganza giveaway that's going to be happening in the group again, which is super fun. So I'm going to be having stuff, and someone like Gabriel might be giving something away in my group, huh?
Yes.
Right? And yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of fun. So anyway, you can look that up, personal development party, and click join and answer the questions. And I may accept you to the group. That's fun. And then the last thing is right now I am launching a new mastermind program. I host behavioral masterminds. So when I say behavioral, because again, I coach on behavioral superpowers. Like everyone in the group knows their powers, and we go through lots of different depth and levels of their behavioral styles, financial styles, communication styles, decision making, all of it. And I'm launching one right now. Tomorrow at midnight is the last day to apply. And it is called Behave and Grow Rich for Women. This is for women only. And we will be reading, part of my course materials are the book Think and Grow Rich, as well as the book Think and Grow Rich for Women. And it's a behavioral style. So we're going to be dissecting that as well throughout the process. It's 12 weeks. I don't mess around. So I'm all giggly and laughy right now, but you get into class with me, it's time to go to work.
It's on, right?
So I'm still laughing and have fun, but it's not for the faint of heart. I can tell you that. So if you are interested, then you can send me. I mean, I have a link. I don't know if you can put a link in. I can put a link in, or you can email me.
I can put a link in. You give it to me. That's the Facebook group there. If you want to go to click it.
Yeah. So what if I give you the link in here? Can you post it in there or something? Is that how that works?
Yep. You give it to me. I can put it in there.
Okay. And this is my little bit.ly link for the info page and to apply, because you do have to apply. It's a curated group. Not everybody gets in. You apply by tomorrow night at midnight to have an opportunity to have your application reviewed, and the class starts on Sunday. So it is go time for that. So that's just a couple things I've got coming up, and you hear more about them, but I'm excited.
There you go. There is the link there, guys. You can go click it in the comments now. It is an actual link if you want to go there. Sign up for anybody who wants to really go push themselves, ladies.
Yeah. And here's one thing I'll add to, and this is why I did it in this way. This is what I know. I'm a practitioner of what I teach. So what I'm going to be teaching in this course is what I've done. Like I've been reading this book and these books multiple times over the past several years and implementing. There's a difference between reading a book and doing a book. Yes, big difference. Okay. So what I do is I take the materials with everything else that I'm teaching of my own content and help people implement certain components that I know are effective if you're willing to do the work. But I know most people don't want to work that hard. I do know that. So that's cool. And that's okay, because not everyone's where they need, at the same place. But from a level place, this book is powerful. However, I love that Sharon Lecter rewrote it for women and modernized it and talked about the successes that women have and the different things that they literally are dealing with that Napoleon Hill didn't know nothing about. Okay. He interviewed 500 men, very successful men, but there was no, there's some things missing there, right? We can all agree with that. And so there's a way to like bridge those two things together from a behavioral component, because what I know is how you do anything is how you're going to do everything. Like I'm fast paced, creative, outgoing. That's not how everybody is. But how you are is how you're going to handle a class like that and read books like that and execute or not. So that's why I specifically built it that way. And I want women to have an opportunity, because I've asked lots of women if they've read this, Think and Grow Rich, or if they haven't, why not? And I've had them tell me things like, oh, I didn't think that book was for me. Or I thought that was for that book's for men, or I'm not ready for that. And I'm like, no, you are ready. Right. So I want to encourage them to know that, yes, you are just as worthy and deserving of having access to this information. And the power of the mastermind is real. It's real when you're doing it with other people. So anyway, that's why I'm doing it, and why it's going to be amazing. So
yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Kenyatta, this evening, coming on here and sharing all her wonderful information, guys. And again, everything's in the comments if you want to click on it. If you want to just connect with Kenyatta, tell her I sent her. You can click and connect with her on her LinkedIn page and join the group. It's a fun group. It really is. And again, a lot of good stuff comes out of there, and you never know, you might meet the right connection and just help that one person might help you along in your career or on your journey. You just never know. So that's what all this is about and what the whole networking thing is. So thank you, Kenyatta, so much.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you so much. Sit tight, everybody else. I will be back tomorrow evening, 7:30 Central Standard Time. My guest for the evening will be Deb Helfrich, and she will be talking about, she does well-being philosophy, life-centric thinking. It's going to be pretty cool. I like some of the videos that she's been creating. So she'll be on tomorrow evening, and we will be having another discussion. So thank you, Kenyatta, so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone who was watching.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Gabe.